8:46 a.m., after being hijacked by members of Al-Qaeda, American Airlines Flight 11 slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, destroying floors 93 to 99, killing hundreds instantly and sealing the fate of many others. For many others all over the world, an unimaginable nightmare had begun.
You are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
"17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175, which had also been hijacked by members of Al-Qaeda, sliced into the South Tower, destroying floors 77 to 85, and leaving the building in a worse situation than its twin.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! What? Oh my God! It's terrorist! Guys, what do we do?
34 minutes after that, a hijacked American Airlines Flight 77 slammed into the Pentagon in Virginia. Back in New York, the South Tower burned for only 55 minutes before its structure failed. The final plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was intended to fly into either the White House or the Capitol building. But the passengers and crew of that plane had heard about what happened in New York and Virginia. In a desperate attempt, and to show what the American people are truly made of, they fought back. The plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m.
Is there any way we can get IFC to pass here for contact report? We are continually trying.
At 10:28 a.m., 30 minutes after its twin fell, the North Tower collapsed. At this moment 20 years ago, the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center were no more. A great symbol of many things have been wiped out, but most importantly, one of strength, wealth, beauty, spirit, liberty, and freedom. Thousands of lives all over the world, as well as the United States of America itself, would never be the same again.
Okay, this is Dawson. I guess you know the
2,763 people died when the World Trade Center was hit and collapsed. 189 people died when Flight 77 struck the Pentagon. And finally, all 44 people on board died when Flight 93 crashed, taking the death toll to a total of 2,996, which includes the 19 hijackers. I am now here to remember the 2,977 innocent people who tragically perished in the ensuing horror and chaos. Innocent people who worked for a living and had families and children to provide for. Thousands of those families were torn apart. Husbands lost wives, wives lost husbands, parents lost children, and children lost parents, among many more. To all of those people, I want you to know that you did not deserve what happened. You only wanted to go to work so you could provide for those you loved, something that no one has the right to take away from you. Sometimes we have to make sacrifices unexpectedly, but the ones you were forced to make, no one should have to make those sacrifices in a split second, especially in the face of death. Although you can't be seen physically in these clips, you can be heard spiritually as you desperately cried for help and reached out to your families, telling them you loved them. I want you all to know that you didn't die alone on that day, and all these years later, your friends, family, and loved ones are still grieving for you. I won't forget these words from former President Barack Obama. Our hearts still ache for the futures snatched away, the lives that might have been. To say the 9/11 Memorial is a very moving place would be an understatement. There are many words to describe it. Seeing the names of everyone who perished engraved on the memorial pools, exactly where the Twin Towers once stood, is very emotional. The size of the memorial pools, as well as the impressive and perhaps overwhelming size and height of both One World Trade Center and the Empire State Building, and the remarkable view from their observation decks, truly gives off the scale of the disaster. Knowing something that big came crashing to the ground in just seconds with hundreds of innocent people trapped inside. It's incredible, and I don't mean that in a good way. For some, falling from that height was their only way out. I was only 7 years old when 9/11 happened. I still remember where I was and what I was doing on that day, but the true scale of what happened from all perspectives was difficult for me to understand at that age. But 20 years later, I now understand it much better. Here is a photograph of me when I visited the 9/11 Memorial in November 2017. Next to me is a little white flower on the name of someone who died in the South Tower, a very poignant and emotional sight, whose scars are now much more understandable to me now than they were when 9/11 happened. Seeing photographs of people who had friends or relatives that died break down all these years later really helps to understand the impact that scars can have, scars that never go away because of the loss of someone special. Sometimes we only realize who our true friends and family are in a split second. Their worth is hard for us to imagine when they are still with us. These photographs from the 12th anniversary show what I mean by the impact of scars. Due to the right to anonymity of those pictured, I will not name them in this video. But remember this, dear viewer. If you miss someone, it's because you remember them. Those who truly love us never leave us. Because love survives, and because of something very special that lives in every single one of us, our power to remember. Life has taught me many important lessons, but one lesson that stands out more than any is that the heart is what matters the most. Someone may be taken from us physically, but if they truly love us, or we truly love them, they can always be found in here. The thing that matters the most. If you have the power to remember, evil is not allowed to win. Please take that to heart, dear viewer. Legally and biologically, I may not be an American, but in my heart, I am one. My heart goes out today to all those who perished, and to their friends, their relatives, and to those who have fought for that great country. To those who still are, I salute you. Their sacrifice was not in vain. Following any tragedy, measures are always put in place to stop them happening again, based on the flaws that allowed them to happen in the first place. In the case of 9/11, it was security in airports and aircraft that allowed it to happen. Screening equipment can now sniff out any offensive weapon or substance, and any item that could be used as an offensive weapon is prohibited on aircraft. Airline crew members are specially trained to deal with aggressive passengers, and cockpit doors are fully bullet and blast resistant. Thanks to the dramatically improved security procedures in airports and aircraft, as well as the design changes to modern aircraft, something like 9/11 will not be allowed to happen again. Therefore, to all of you who were and still are affected by 9/11, what happened to your friends and loved ones was not in vain. I have posted this for the whole world to see, but if anyone watching this had any friends or relatives that were there on that day, just know that I am thinking about you and my heart goes out to you. For those we've lost, we stand strong today. The USA flag still stands for freedom. No one can take that away. The Twin Towers were physically taken from us, and so were the many people who died on that day. Not just in the Twin Towers, but also those in the Pentagon, on Flight 93, and those who died in the 1993 attack on the World Trade Center. But have we forgotten them? No, we have not, and we will not. We will never forget. No day shall erase you from the memory of time, and in darkness we shine brightest. May everyone who died on this day 20 years ago rest in peace. God bless the United States of America.